This is a Hot Pie Original.
Welcome to the Gray Area Podcast with me, Chad Fisher. No more.
Yo, it's Aaron Cheatham.
Yeah, we out the house, boy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gray Area Podcast. I'm Chad Fisher alongside my co-host, Mr. Aaron Cheatham. Aaron, how you doing, brother?
Brother, I am fantastic.
You good?
Sí. Es muy bien, señor.
Okay. That's...
¿Y tú?
Sí.
Did we cross your threshold of Spanish?
Yeah, C is about as far as I go.
How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good, man. Fucking, doing the dad thing, man. My son slept through the night for the first time ever. I was still up watching fucking basketball way too late. No, I was actually, I take that back. I'm trying to act all hard and shit. No, I was up watching Married at First Sight last night. That's what I was doing.
All right, that's the end of the episode.
Dog, it is the worst. It's the worst.
Thank you for coming to the Gray Area.
Let me tell you something. I can tell you something. It is the worst show ever, and I know because I've watched all 12 seasons of it. It's terrible, dude. It's the worst show. It's so terrible. You always, every year, there's like a girl that's like, I don't think he's taking marriage seriously enough. It's like, I don't think you are, motherfucker. You're on a reality television show where you marry someone you've never met before. I don't think you're taking it serious enough, Stephanie.
Wow, you have really strong opinions about this show.
It's a good show. It's a good show. I like it, man.
I got a bag of estrogen out in the lobby.
Oh yeah, hit me up, dog. I'm always down.
Bring in the man boobies.
Yeah, why not?
Get your lactation going.
I'm down. That's how I get down.
You got a shout out for this?
Yeah, man. My shout out is the doctor. Did you hear about this doctor that appeared in court in a court video while performing surgery? This happened in Sacramento. This is a baller ass move.
You said that a doctor appeared in court
via video
while in surgery.
Yeah. The Medical Board of California said it would investigate a plastic surgeon. Oh, of course, he's a plastic surgeon. He's like, it's just titties, no big deal. I can do this shit in my sleep. Fuck it. Investigate a plastic surgeon who appeared at a video conference for his traffic violation while operating.
It's traffic court. Who gives a fuck, man? I'll do that while I'm taking
He's
shit.
Like, hold on a second. I'm putting in a titty. I'll get right back to you. Yeah, no, I didn't see the speed limit sign, sir. I'm sorry.
I hit the TV.
He said, so the fucking judge or whatever was like, hello, Mr. Green. How are you? Are you available for trial? It kind of looks like you're in an operating room right now. And he's like, yeah, I am, dumbass. Good fucking catch. What tipped it off, The fucking scrubs or the scalpel, you dumbass? Yeah, dude, I think that's some baller ass shit, man. He just didn't give a shit. He's just like, nah, you know what? I got a traffic code. Fuck it, I'm a double dip, motherfucker.
All right.
So that's my shout out. I don't know what the fucking dude's name is, but
doctor guy that goes to court while in surgery.
Doctor not give a fuck. That's who it is, man.
My shout out this week goes to Steph Curry.
Steph Curry,
because that motherfucker has come back, after being out pretty much all of last year. He's looking like Steph Curry circa 2014 right now, minus the other half of the Splash Brothers.
Dude, that's like my least favorite athlete ever, man. I can't stand that motherfucker. Every time he scores, he act like he just like fucking cured cancer or some shit. It's
because he probably
annoying.
Did. Every time he scores, a child in Ethiopia probably gets some bread.
It's so annoying. Watch him. The next time you watch him play, every time he scores, he's like, dude, I'm like Kobe and shit. It's like, dog,
he's having fun. Why can't he have fun?
Because he don't play defense.
And neither does half the league.
Well, him especially. He's just so annoying. I don't know. His face annoys me.
Well, that's my goddamn shout out because that motherfucker is back in a big way. I love to see a good comeback story. The Warriors really ain't about shit really right now still, but fuck, dude, that dude is like I don't care what you say. It's exciting to watch Steph when he's feeling himself, when he's dropping.
That is all time.
When he's dropping threes from one step past half court, when he's just out there balling out. I'm not a Warriors fan. Steph's cool, but I love to see a good story like this. I love to see Steph back balling out like a motherfucker. Out there in the All-Star game, just clowning folks. Fuck, Steph. That's it was either Steph or Tom Brady. And I give Tom Brady, more love than I give Tom Brady more love than anybody on the planet. Tom Brady deserves to be my shout out every week just for existing.
He's an awesome guy.
But I got to spread it out a little bit. And Steph is the man right now. Yeah. So I'm glad to see Steph back on top. That's my shout out for the week. But we got a couple guests.
Yeah, man. We got some guests in studio, which is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them. I don't know. I think both. Are y'all both owners? Yeah. So, okay. They're both owners of a new comedy club that's opening here in Austin, Texas called The Creek and the Cave. It's going to be opening up on, it's at the old Red 7 building, right? So Red River and 7th down in here in downtown Austin. Marty Clarke and Colton Dowling, how you guys doing? Thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
dude, this is super. No, we had to go get them downstairs from where we record at. They was like down there shooting up heroin in the courtyard and shit. They're like, hey, no heroin. You guys can have all the Bud Light you want, but no heroin. All right, that's where we draw the line here.
Security guard did not like us.
He doesn't like anybody. So
we were down there. We just cracked open a beer while we were started standing there, and he was just like, you can't drink it. He was just baffled that anybody would even try that. And I was like, where did you come from?
This has got to be the first time this has happened to him, I'm sure,
man. Got kicked outside, cracked up on another one, and he was like, you can't do it out here either. Like,
dude, they like kicked you out of outside. They're like, you guys got to get out of outside and come inside. That shit never happens, man. Well, they got you. But yeah, we're super excited to have you guys on here, man. We can't wait to talk about the comedy club. This is something that Austin really desperately needs. We're super excited about that. But first
we're gonna play a game with you guys. It's called Dobbins and Bobbins. Are you guys game for the game?
We're game for the game, but we do not know those words.
It sounds like an ice cream shop.
It could be. Absolutely, it could be. And don't act like you're not familiar with Dobbin and Bobbin.
No, I've been blowjabbing and more blowjabbing. Other than that, I don't know what that word is.
Before we go, I got to tell you, to the audience and everybody, like Colton is one of my favorite people in Austin. Like I genuinely love you, dude. I love having you around. One of my favorite people. So I'm really excited that you're here. Marty's a person.
That's what I was gonna say. Marty, we haven't talked, but
I think I met Marty twice. And they've been short conversations. You took me over with Jay and a group of other people to check out the club.
Yeah.
He's like, hold on a second. Did I do that? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
He was like, hold on. I can only I've only have 4 black people in there. Was he one of them?
There's a quote I got hit every day.
Yeah. But I am genuinely happy to have you guys here. Glad we can do this. The game Dobbins and Bobbins comes from the UK. So the way it works is you guys all wrote down names of fake racehorses.
Mm-hmm.
I have the name of one real racehorse. So I'm going to read off the list of names, and you guys have to find out which one is the real racehorse. Now, there's a scoring system here, right? If you guess the real racehorse, you will get 3 points.
Okay.
And then you might win this extravagant paperweight.
We getting there. If somebody picks the racehorse that you made up, you get a point. And if nobody guesses the racehorse, then I get 3 points.
I hope that's a bag with a bag, you know?
It's a
Oh boy.
the winner of the game gets this luxurious Gray Area Podcast party bag. It's a paperweight. And I really hope that Chad wins because
it's like a little grab bag of drugs in there, just like little samples of drugs, like a little bit of little heroin, a little blow, little nug, you know.
Chad's balls are in here.
We call that a Wisconsin hello.
If Chad gets his balls back, they'll stop watching Married at First Sight.
There's a half a cigarette in there that we
It's just Chad's testicles.
Yes.
Give him back.
There you go, man.
It's very heavy. It's very heavy.
There you
Big
go.
balls.
Yeah.
They're very girthy.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to play Dobbins and Bobbins?
Yes.
All right, here we go. First round. Here are the horse names. Marty's alcoholism.
I wonder who made up that one.
I don't know what that is.
The C word. Horse, which is spelled W-H-O-R-S-E.
Dude, that was going to be one of mine. That's so crazy.
Horse,
It's so easy.
fiddlesticks, and flat drunk.
Which one of those is a real horse?
Yes, again, that was the C word, Marty's alcoholism, flat drunk, horse, fiddlesticks. Which one is the real horse?
Fiddlesticks.
Yeah.
Fiddlesticks.
Well, what happens if we all...
Yeah.
Then all 3 of you just got 3 points.
Hey, Papa.
Actually, that's a lie. It's not fiddlesticks. I made that one. My bad. It's flat drunk. Flat drunk was the actual horse.
damn.
I thought I wrote that
You
one
were
down.
so close.
Flat drunk.
Marty was so close.
So that would be 3 for me for the fiddlestick guest. Next one. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At the starting line, we have stank butt, dumb blondes, dirty toes, I'll have another, and big dick energy.
I'll have another.
I'll have another. That's definitely a horse. I've seen that horse race.
He's like, I fucking won $20 on that motherfucker to show.
Are you just going with everybody else?
Well, he said he saw him, so...
I know that motherfucker. Like, I know.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know I have another?
That's where I got my glue.
Yeah, you guys are all right on that one. That one, you guys are all right. I'll have another.
Yeah, you can't use real horse like Seabiscuit, like things we're gonna know.
No, I had to go deep into the logs of real horse names.
I'm a horse racing fanatic.
Are you really?
Never been to one in my life.
All right, fantastic.
I just know that name.
I like hats a lot. You know,
I love hats. A good fancy hat.
Mhm.
That's the next game. You have to guess what are real hats and not real hats.
Right. All right, next one. Ball buster. My mom's virginity. That nay. Flat feet. Fuck that. And booger tits.
It's the one that you couldn't say.
The one I couldn't say.
Flat feet.
Flat fleet feet.
Flat fleet feet.
Damn it, that's what I think it is too. What were the other ones?
Flat fleet feet. Ball buster. My mom's virginity. That nay. And booger tits.
I'm gonna say my mom's virginity.
Your mom's virginity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with flat feet.
Colton.
Yeah, that word.
All right.
He's like, are we still playing? Yeah.
Who came up with my mom's virginity?
That was me. I'm saying
yeah.
I thought it was
That's
a real
yours?
horse.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a point for
That's-
Marty.
Oh,
That is
take
a real
that,
horse?
Mom.
No, that's
Oh.
his horse.
Damn.
Marty is
So
at 4
close.
points now. And the correct answer was fat fleet.
Of course. Those
There we
bastards.
go.
Of course they do that shit.
Marty, you are leading as we go into the last round with
That's right.
7 points.
Here we go.
Colton, you got 6. Chad, you're about to lose your bag.
Oh, fuck.
Here we go. This is the last one. It's all to go for, though. You can still make up the points.
Yeah.
Last one. We ready?
Mhm.
Mhm.
The wife doesn't know. Speedy Gonzalez, Young and Breastless, Dirty Dick, and Mr. Head.
What was the young and the breastless?
Young and Breastless.
I'm gonna do that one.
Okay. Dirty Dick, Mr. Head, Speedy Gonzalez, The Wife Doesn't Know.
The wife doesn't know is what I'm going with.
Me. Fuck. Well, that's not gonna win me the money.
Well, it's not money. Bro. Just that's
No,
a.
it's not money.
Well, it's just a.
Then I do
bag.
not care about this at all.
No, but you can
It's just a
definitely.
bag that may or may not have illicit drugs.
Yeah,
in it.
you can definitely sell the cocaine in here
Yeah.
Okay.
for
cool.
money.
What's the first one? Was that?
The wife doesn't know.
Yeah, that one.
They're gonna be
Okay.
mad
Is that
disappointed.
That's what I guessed.
Damn it.
Yeah, you guys both. You sure you want to stick with that? Is that your final
No,
answer?
because I can't win that way.
Okay.
So what's the other ones?
Speedy Gonzalez.
No, I wrote that.
Why don't you tell us? Well, did you write that one?
Yeah, I wrote that one.
Oh my God.
No one guessed it. Like it's
That was-
over, you
I
know.
was thinking about it.
Young and Breastless, Dirty Dick, and Mr. Head.
Mr. Head.
Mr. Head. So you got Mr. Head. You got The Wife Doesn't Know. You
Yeah.
got the Young and Breastless.
Yeah.
Did you write Young and Breastless?
I did indeed.
All right, that's
Oh,
a point for you,
son of a
and
bitch,
also
got me.
another point because you guessed the right one. The
I'm
Wife
amazing.
Doesn't Know.
Dude.
I'm gonna go pro in this game.
Pretty
11
good.
points for you, Marty
Yeah.
Clarke. You are the
Yeah,
winner
you get the
of
grab
Dobbins
bag.
and Bobbins.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
If you-
Should I open
yeah.
it now?
Yeah, we're gonna whoop
There's a
your
rock
ass in the
there.
parking lot for it, though.
Yeah.
That's
Just
our.
a rock, I think, actually, but you know,
It's just a rock.
yeah.
It's a part. It's a
Not a
paper.
crack rock either, just a rock.
Oh,
An
okay.
actual
No,
rock.
How did you stick this in here?
well,
We
I-
used some glue from one of these.
I bought it like that.
Did you do some glue?
It's just flair, actually, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there's anything in
No, the bag is the paper.
Yeah.
Is that? There's a huge rock in here. Oh, it is an actual paperweight?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
paperweight.
Yeah.
I thought I was really supposed to take this out. No. I just went on
No,
this.
Let's
Bag.
welcome Marty Clarke, who destroys gifts given to him. You are the worst. Hey, it's a
I-
present. Tear it up.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna get us out of here. But
Clearly, nobody has ever given you shit in life. You've had to work for
I
everything.
don't get a lot of gifts. I'll clean this up. I don't get a lot of
Just-
gifts.
He's like, I'm gonna destroy this whole thing to find this rock.
I was gonna pull out all that blue stuff, so I'm glad that I
mean-
stopped.
If you've ever wondered what a dope fiend looks like in real life, enter Marty
Hey,
Clarke.
if you think I can't snort that, I'm gonna snort that.
Chad, do you have headlines
Yeah, we
for
got
us?
some headlines, man. Did you hear about this shit? A DNA test confirms former restaurant workers are sisters.
Who cares?
That's hilarious, right? No, because
What?
check it out. So 2 women were like working at a restaurant together, and they didn't even know that they were sisters like the entire time.
And then
Hooters?
So I don't know. That's it, really.
No, but, like,
so they
like-
find out they're sisters, and so they fucking I don't know. They go to barbecues together or some shit. They fucking share recipes.
Were they separated at birth?
Yeah, they were separated at birth. You know, they fucking.
This is the most Connecticut shit I've ever heard.
Is this Connecticut?
It's the most Connecticut shit I've ever
I
heard.
think
Like,
it probably is
That's,
Connecticut.
I'm guessing Virginia.
It said the 2 met in
This is from,
2013 while working at a Connecticut restaurant. Yeah, it is Connecticut.
You knew it.
They recently found out that they had they had the same birth parents.
wait, both parents? Ooh, that bitch must have been ugly.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
That bitch came out looking like Schmeagol. They were like,
When was the dishwasher?
And they did the DNA test through Pet Finder, and one of them.
Despite being separated at birth, they're both their lives still turned out incredibly average too, which is cool.
one of them is the shift leader. The other one's the dishwasher.
Yeah, she's like, look,
I'll let you guess which one's
You're
which.
still going to need to come in on time tomorrow, Dolores. I don't give a shit if we're sisters or not. You're still going to fucking clean the oven after work. You know?
The black one is the one washing the toilets.
That's fucked up. Second headline, worst case. Burglar caught over bite from German sausage. German police say they have solved the 9-year-old burglary. I wonder how it took 9 fucking years. German police say they solved the 9-year-old burglary after DNA evidence found on a half-eaten piece of sausage matched that of a man detained in France over an unrelated crime. So this dude couldn't help himself, ate it. He took half a bite of a sausage, left it there, and then his DNA was on the fucking...
Time out.
What?
No.
First off...
No, that didn't happen.
It did, man.
First off, you're telling me that a guy was robbing somebody and go, oh,
man,
Wiener Schnitzel.
I need a
and then takes a bite.
That sausage look good as shit.
And then 9 years later, he's in jail in another country for some other bullshit. And they go, we've got a DNA match to that Wiener Schnitzel from fucking...
Dude, this is hilarious.
And how did they separate it from human? And
that's a good... Yeah, that'd be great. I guess it was on the fucking bun or some shit. Or he just had real jacked up teeth and they were like, we're going to find this guy.
Who held on to a sausage for DNA that long? I mean...
They kept it. I don't know.
Yeah, and it was that big of a case. What the fuck got stolen? Jewels or some shit? They're like, we gotta keep this hot dog bun.
Are Germany's cold cases 9 years late?
Yeah, I guess, dude.
It took them 9 years to solve something?
It says it wasn't clear what type of sausage, known in Germany as Wurst, the burglar had nibbled, though police said it was a hard variety. What the fuck?
A hard sausage?
I tell you what.
That sounds pretty.
I think the 4 of us can go to Germany and rob that place clean.
Yeah,
and they won't figure it out until
they're not gonna know
2050.
shit.
no, don't eat the sausage. Don't eat the sausage.
Just keep Marty away from sausages, and I think we'll be able to pull this off.
We'll keep Marty away from this next headline too, because custom inspectors find cocaine-coated cornflakes in Ohio.
Sounds about right.
All that
I kept this. I got
That's how
this.
I find out.
I brought this one out for Marty especially. Customs authorities in Ohio say they intercepted a shipment of cereal earlier this month with a special frosting, cocaine.
Wow. For anybody listening, he brought that out because I'm from Ohio. I don't do cocaine. I'm just from Ohio.
But if you did do cocaine, how would you get it off of the cereal?
That's what I want to know.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. I was thinking the same
cereal.
thing. You should just lick it. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
you don't.
No.
eat the
You got Frosted Flakes with a special coating, and you eat them in a special milk of bull semen.
Jesus Christ.
That's how they
And
make,
by bull, I mean Frank down the street.
that's actually how they make Monster energy drinks. It's just
Yeah,
right?
dude. Seriously. They asked Kellogg's that. They're like, so what's the secret to selling all these cornflakes for
Cocaine!
75 fucking years? They're like,
Cocaine.
it's easy, man. It's cocaine. That's all it is. It's just coke,
Dude,
man.
Why don't you let
That's
us
it.
do it?
Yeah. Yeah. So some dog found this shit.
I'll tell you what,
so-
they're great.
That's good, man. That's good. So that's gonna do it for headlines.
Word. Well, we're glad to have you guys here in studio.
Yeah.
So you guys are part owners of the Cake and
The creek.
Cake and the cake.
The cake.
I'm having a bad name day.
Dog,
I'll just
yeah.
have you know.
I fucked
The
up some
Cave
shit
and
earlier.
Creek comedy.
Creek
No.
and the cave. Still wrong.
So
Try the
y'all
creek
live in Austin. What's up?
I was like, you just
It's-
never been in New York. Huh?
Yeah, the Creek and
I
the
haven't.
Cave Comedy Club. This
I
used
have
to
not.
be
It shows.
this used to be a comedy club in New York, and now it's moved down here because New Yorkers can't do shit. They're not allowed to leave their house apparently and shit.
They're still in trouble up there.
Yeah, so they moved that down here, and so can you tell us about how that came about? Like how that came to fruition? Shrooms? Yeah, that's probably it. I'm sure.
I mean, you want me to tell you the real story? That's
That's the real story.
yeah.
yeah. Well, that's what happened. So I took over Rough Cut Comedy. I was kind of a part of it pre-COVID. That's what Gabe Cavazos started. So I'd run like 4 monthly shows or something pre-COVID, and then when things started coming back, well, first off, like during the George Floyd protests, I happened to run into Gabe Cavazos. So then I got in this big comedians group. So we had like 10 or 15 comics going out there like every day for like a week to the protest. We were handing out waters and masks. And so I got back in with the comedians. I hadn't even seen a comic in like 3 to 6 months, honestly.
Mhm.
So I started hanging out with them again. And then Craig Fergola convinced me to go to an open mic. That was, I think the first one I went to was Michelada's. The second one was Opa. But I went to either of those and I was like, oh, comedy is, coming back. They're doing it in a safe way. They're doing it outdoors. I need something to do. I was like, I'll just start an open mic because my background is in Wisconsin, where I'm from. I started a ton of shows. Kind of producing was kind of my thing because it just builds stage time for everybody.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll start my open mic. So I started my Lucky Duck open mic. By week 2, we had over 60 comedians. It was over 4 hours. It was great because people were just chomping at the bit to get back out to do stand-up. And so then I started that. And then I was like, all right, well, now we need a showcase. This is just a mic. Let's start doing showcases. So I started showcasing, I think WTF, Baker Street, my Lucky Duck. Also, I built a showcase there. They just started piling on. And then before I knew it, in December, I think we had 26 or 27 shows in the month of December.
Damn.
Yeah, and so then one of my shows was, it's called Wisecracks at Lucky Duck. It's the first Friday of every month. Hunter Duncan was headlining. It was sold out. Great show, December 5th. I remember the date. It was December 5th. We went after there was these guys. This is all, we're going to find out from this club coming to be, it's very much so luck. So these guys that I'd met that day drinking, I just gave them free tickets to the show. They came through. We went out drinking after. Turned out they were venture capitalists. They were like, hey, we want to invest in Rough Cut. You guys are doing a great thing here.
Oh, sure.
You're blowing up. And I was like, we don't really need any money. Our shows are going well. Like, I don't know what I'd do with that.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, you should open up a club. And I'm like, I would never open up a club. That's not my thing. It's just, I produce shows to give myself and other people stage time, but I don't want to do like hiring, firing. I don't want to do like liquor stuff. So I was like, he's like, just sleep on it. So that night I went home, took a bunch of mushrooms. So I took a bunch of mushrooms and I was laying in my bed and I was watching this podcast, one of my favorite ones called Legion of Skanks. And it was the last one. It was 3 days before the Creek in the Cave shut down for good. And Rebecca Trent happened to be there. She hopped on the mic. I knew what the Creek in the Cave was for years because I'm a comedy nerd. And it just, I knew their vibe. I knew they're very scene oriented, developing local comics. It's a great drop-in club. It's just, I loved what she did there. And so anyway, she was talking about how sad she was. So me kind of just on a whim, I'd never talked to her before. Last time I went to New York, I was 8 years old. So I never performed there. So I just hit her up randomly on Facebook and I'm like, hey, would you ever consider moving the Creek in the Cave down to Austin? I'm really sorry that it shut down. I know it was such a storied club in New York. And she's like, yeah, let's talk tomorrow. So I talked to her the next day. I said, hey, we might be able to find some money and find a spot. We flew her down like a week and a half later, found a spot. And then like less than 3 months later, here we are. And we opened up April 1st.
That's crazy, man.
Wow.
That's really wild. And one of the reasons for people that aren't familiar with the, I was going to say, did you send her a message when you were on shrooms? Was like, hey man, we should really totally like come together as one, man.
The universe brought us together.
Yeah, man. It's like just destiny, man. I don't know if you've ever heard about destiny, man, but this is what this is. But for a lot of people that don't know the Austin comedy scene is that for the longest time, Austin only had one comedy club. And it was kind of, if you weren't there, you weren't performing, you know what I'm saying? You were performing at bars and shows like that. That was the only comedy club in town. And so with COVID,
Velve too.
Velve, yeah, okay. So yeah, but 1.5, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But Velveeta Room, 1.5. But so now comedy clubs are opening up all over the place here in Austin. We've got a guy on next week, the guy that runs Vulcan and everything. But were you thinking about that when you opened this place up? Or did you think about like, Cap City just closed, obviously. We're gonna have kind of a free reign on talent down here because Austin has an immense amount of talent here in terms of stand-up comedy.
Right. Well, no, I did. We knew Cap City shut down. It was sad for the whole Austin community. I mean, that was they're there for like I think 35 years or something like that. And so that did kind of play into it. We knew Rogan was eventually going to open up his club, which he still is, but that probably won't be till for a while from now. And so we were like, yeah, there was a big void in terms of comedy clubs. We didn't know Cap City was going to come back, which we're very glad they are in the Domain. But we didn't know anybody they were going to come back or anything else was going to blow up other than Rogan. And so we didn't want to really run a comedy club because, like I said, I mean, we're comedians.
Yeah, you want to do comedy. You don't want
to. The amount of times that I bitched about just having a show.
The
work involved in producing.
So booking and all that shit.
I want to tell dick jokes.
Yeah.
It's
right.
mind-blowing.
Yeah, and so we didn't. So that's why this would have never worked out unless we got the perfect person who's Rebecca Trent. She ran an amazing club for 14 years in New York. And so with her running it, we found just the perfect fit because between us, we know the Austin scene really well. We know, he's been here longer than I have, but we know Austin, we know the city. I've been bartending and doing restaurants here since I moved here 2 years ago. So I know kind of the service industry. We know how everything's kind of coming up. And then there's a little bit, I wouldn't call it a change in the Austin scene, but there is just so many new comics. I mean, For example, like 2 days ago I had my open mic at Lucky Duck. There was 74 comedians that went up.
Jesus.
It's a record. 74 comedians. And of those 74, there was, I think I counted 6 who were here pre-COVID.
Wow.
And so everybody moved in here. And so that's what really helped me out personally so much, because I knew the way I ran things in Wisconsin and the way I wanted to run stuff down here was to be welcoming and supportive. And for how many new people are moving in, I just know how much it sucks when people aren't supportive and like welcome in. And so like I when I started my mic up, I made sure that I can, like for example, my favorite story is Nick Roche. Nick Roche runs a Sunday mic at Sanjay.
Yeah.
I sat him down. The first day he showed up, it was actually like my second mic there. First day he showed up into town. He moved there the day before. So he shows up to my mic and I'm like, hey, like he's one of the first people there. I'm like, hey, I introduced myself, told him about the mic, asked him when he moved here. He's like, I moved here yesterday from Connecticut. I don't really know anybody. And I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. You're going to sit your ass down right next to me and I'm going to introduce you to every single person who comes up here. And so that's what I did. I introduced him to everybody. And that's what I really wanted to ingrain into what we were going to do at a club. And Rebecca, me and Colton, we all see eye to eye on that. We're paying homage to the Austin scene because it is such a storied, amazing comedy city. But there's so many new people that it needs to be welcoming. There's going to be a lot of new shows, a lot of new people. I mean, that's just really where I came from Wisconsin, because I'd seen, I mean, honestly, I had a really bad time when I first started in comedy. And so I was just like, I don't want that to be the case.
Yeah.
I want people, if it's their first time doing comedy or if it's their first time in Austin, I want to introduce them to people. Because I mean, really, comedians, we're all just the island of misfit toys. We're all just a bunch of weirdos.
Very, very true.
Right.
What do you say to people that say it's irresponsible to be running that many shows or running shows at all right now during the pandemic?
Sure. And I mean, they have. I've gotten a little bit of flack for that. And, you know, right now I have moved a good amount of my shows inside. But when I first started running stuff, all of my shows were outside. That's the only way you could do it. We try to do it as safe as possible. I mean, what I did is because I've done comedy in, I think, like 17 or 20 states, but I looked at what the other big cities were doing, or the other cities that were running anything. And the only way you could do it at first, like in September, was to do it outside, mic covers, sanitize, still have the tables 6 feet apart. And that was the only safe way to do it. And so that's how I started doing it. I did everything outside and then like slowly kind of transitioned a lot of things inside. And you know, it's a fair point. They have a point. I mean, there's not really a safe way to do really anything. That was a big thing with COVID. We didn't know if we could go to the grocery store. We didn't know we didn't know if masks were working. Just the science was out on a lot of those things. And so for me, honestly, I didn't blame people for not coming out, comedians or audience members. I'm like, hey, if you don't feel comfortable, please stay home. I'm not trying to get you to come out or making you come out. If you come out and perform or you come out and watch my shows, that's great. I feel comfortable doing it. On a personal note, I have no kids that I'm worried about. I have my parents I haven't seen them in months or whatever. I had nobody that I was worried about getting them sick. So if there was a group of comics that like could do it in a safe way, then like that's because comedy is all I have. Honestly, I was unemployed after COVID hit, and I was just sitting around. I did nothing for 6 months, literally nothing. And so I was just like, I need to do comedy, because it got to the point where I was just like, what am I gonna do? And so when I saw like I said, Micheladas and Opa come back, I was like, all right, if there is a safe way to do comedy, then and I can help facilitate that, then that's what I'm gonna do. And so there was I got not a good amount, but I did get some negative feedback about running shows. And I always told anybody who like brought it to me specifically, I just said, straight up, like that's okay. You don't have to be happy with me running shows. I'm not trying to kill people. The people that are coming out to bars, first off, people are going to bars regardless if we're running comedy shows or not.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if people are going to bars regardless, you know what? We need comedy more than ever, because we're all just sad after being inside for 6 months. So I was like, people need to laugh. If we can do it in a safe way, I know there's going to be haters out there, but like, I'm just going to do my best. And I mean, there is, in the comedy scene in Austin, it's funny that there weren't a lot of comedians, I'm not going to say this, but a lot of comedians who got COVID. And I mean, even we did it as safe as we possibly could. I mean, there were some shows that were doing no mic covers, no socially distancing, like none of that. And I tried to do it as safe as I possibly could, because I knew that was the only way to make people feel comfortable and then trust me as a producer and a comedian.
Yeah. I think that's important. It's extremely important. So can you tell us a little bit? So you alluded to it there. You're talking about like you want the club to be a welcoming, open place for new comedians and everything like that. Can you give us a little idea of what else is going to be like, what the club else is going to be like? Like, is it going to be cutting edge? Is it going to be, different theme shows every night? What's the weekend's going to look like? What type of comedians or headliners and stuff are you guys going
And
to
like,
have?
what'll differentiate you guys from like what we've seen from comedy clubs? Or are you just going to be a regular, normal, run-of-the-mill
So
comedy
the
club?
amount of art that we've dropped into this place is insane. We have a light at we're doing a neon tree that lights up
shit.
and just shoots up. We have a mural around the entire outside.
Damn.
We have a light wall on the outside that shoots lights through everything. So it's going to be an art house as well. But we're also going to do burlesque shows. There's going to be a drag brunch every Saturday.
That's awesome.
We're trying to really create weird things, and Austin's lost so much of that weirdness.
Totally agree.
There's nothing weird really at all anymore. It's just tech.
Right.
It's just a city. Yeah, it's a cool city. I love Austin. I'll probably be here for the rest of my life. But yeah, it's not as weird. I mean, I've been here 11 years. It's not as weird as it was when I first moved here. You know, used to have waitresses with their shoes off and shit. Now it's fucking no one. No, you ain't seen that shit nowhere. But
and that's really what we're focusing on. Is it's not just comedy in itself. It's all of the arts. Because like I said, I mean, he mentioned burlesque, where we want to do local bands, on maybe Tuesday nights or something, do a local band that's going to rotate. I mean, we're even doing child friendly shows some weekend days, brunch
awesome.
shows, because we really want to be all encompassing. We want everybody to feel comfortable there. I mean, if there's any local comics listening, we're going to open it up here in the next week to have any for show pitches and stuff, because it's going to be on the weekends. We will be bringing in big headliners. So that's what we're going to do for weekend shows, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. But then during the weekdays,
and the names that we have right now are mind blowing.
oh, I'm sure, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, Austin's blowing up.
Yes. They said yes.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
well, that's what's great about Rebecca's connections. I mean, she had such a great reputation
She's
in New York.
right there where everything is.
Right.
So
And-
He's let me text them, and we're like,
that's crazy.
I know.
Shit, what's up?
Right. And then the weekdays, like I said, we just want it to be as supportive of the entire arts community in Austin as we can be. And so we're open to really anything and everything, because we just
awesome.
want to bring it. Because the thing is, then you bring in people for a burlesque show or a music show, and then they see holy crap, Bill Burr's coming in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So we want as many people in and
I was like, Doug, hold on a second. I was about to get crazy over here.
Y'all, I got your opener right here. You know what I'm saying? I got your opener right here, homeboy.
Hey guys, how much do I have to pay to open for Bill Burr? Jesus Christ, you guys need some more art in that motherfucker?
Confirm or deny.
All right, well, here's a question.
Jesus
that's just a name.
Because of where you guys are located, are you concerned about the parking? And also, I mean, Tent City is right there.
right beside it.
Does that worry in your mind a little bit about, people maybe trying to stray away because of parking and the homeless problem in that area?
Sure. Well,
I mean, sorry.
no, I'll tell you talk about parking.
Parking, the answer is it's never been a problem for downtown before.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up. But as far as the homelessness,
Well, we're talking to them. We want to work with them. I mean, we're not anti-homeless. We want to help, help. We're not trying to clear it out or anything. So we want to work with them to we're talking to the city about all their homeless programs. I mean, the city kind of just let the homeless do whatever they wanted because of COVID and everything had shut down. And so now they're putting together programs of how to get them housing, how to, get them jobs, how to get them into a place where they can feel comfortable. And it won't be a hindrance to anybody coming downtown. I mean, It did get it got more than it used to be. But like I said, I mean, parking wise, I live on 6th Street above the bars on 36th.
Oh,
it's a
shit.
nightmare of a place. But you can walk even right now, even during the pandemic when the bars came back, there's thousands and thousands of people on 6th Street. It hasn't hurt. People will find parking because that was we considered that. We're like, well, we don't have a parking lot. But I mean, there's underneath that interpass right now. I mean, there's parking all over downtown. There's street parking and that was one of our issues, and I'm sure that's going to be half the phone calls we get is where do we park?
Yeah. You're like, I've gotten assurances from the homeless community that they will not be shitting in front of our doors. We asked them to go to the alley, actually, so we should be good.
we're actually putting an insane amount of cameras up.
Oh, what's up?
We're working with the police to make sure that alley's safe.
Ain't gonna be no shitting around there. That's
we want to make people feel comfortable. I mean, coming in and out. And like you said, we want to do child-friendly shows on the weekends. We want anybody and everybody to feel comfortable coming in there, getting there, parking, walking around there. I mean, like I said, I've never had any trouble, but I know there has been
same.
in the past. There has been a crime issue in downtown. We're very aware of that, and we're hoping that we can, work with the other owners. We've met a lot of the other owners on 6th Street and 7th Street that we're talking to. And then we all want to work together to come to some sort of solution or help the problem And I don't even like calling it a problem, honestly. Like I'm not against homeless people, but just to help all of them and us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Get your lives together, homelesses.
Dog. Well, I think I think it's
You say homeless lead?
homelessness.
Homelesses.
Well, that's a
They listen
political
to this?
social issue. He said they listen to this.
I'm sure they do. Somehow they got phones.
They listen to the gay area podcast?
Goddamn right.
Is that not where I'm at?
Where am I?
Completely different place.
You promised me
That's
a
going to be the
different-
spinoff. That's gonna be the spinoff.
You promised me a muffin top.
Well, you had mentioned before, you were at Red 7, right? Did you ever go to Barracuda when it was Barracuda?
Yeah.
So you know the area. I mean, and those shows, I mean, that was like an indie music venue for everybody. It was like kind of an indie music, just all music. But I mean, there were still people there. I mean, they didn't move because they weren't doing well. They moved because they just found another spot.
Yeah. I saw Doug Stanhope at Red 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That was a
Hell
good
yeah.
show,
I love Doug.
Long time
You
ago.
might see
But
Doug Stanhope, not
Oh,
me
wow.
confirming or denying.
These motherfuckers. I want to know.
So, like, I know you guys understand how difficult it is to focus on the craft of comedy while also trying to focus on booking and promoting a show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How is that exasperated by now being co-owner of a club? Like, is that going to squeeze out some of the time that you have towards your creative endeavors?
Yeah, do we look tired? Because I feel tired.
No, you look like you
Fucking
usually
tired.
look.
I feel real tired. It's actually nicer. I mean, oftentimes when you're a comedian, you have to have another job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so now, at least this job, I get to hang out with funny people.
Dude, that's cool.
Right.
And so,
Right. Well,
That's
I
how I
mean,
feel
and
about
you
it.
have to be aware. I mean, you've run shows before. I'm sure. Like there, you know, as a producer and a comedian, it is a weird fence to sit on because it's like, do you book yourself? Who do you book? Like, because then people see you as a producer rather than a comedian.
Mhm.
And I've dealt with that for my 8 years of doing comedy. I ran a million shows in Wisconsin too. And so that is, we're all very aware of that. And I mean, that's the thing is it's nice that we have Rebecca because Rebecca is, I mean, as much as like he's programming director, talent coordinator, Rebecca's the general manager. Rebecca's really going to be, I mean, we can kind of refer to her for most things,
Yeah.
you know, because as both of us, we are comedians. I mean, and we know that it's not like we're going to be there. We know that going in. We're not going in there to just book ourselves and build ourselves a club. They're two different things. I mean, I get enough stage time elsewhere, and so does Colton. We get enough stage time where we're not doing this for ourselves.
Yeah.
We're doing it for the scene. And I mean, really, that's my producing strategy that I've always had was like how I did in Madison. When I first started doing comedy 8 years ago, there was only one monthly show and 2 open mics a week.
Jesus.
And I was just like, we just need more stage time. I'm not doing this for myself or so I look good or put myself in a power position. Everybody just needs more stage time. So then I started another open mic, started like a whole bunch of monthly shows. And by the time I left, there was at least one show or mic every single night of the week.
Wow, what's up?
And again, because it wasn't, and it's funny because like even my shows that I was running before this club, like when post COVID, but before the club, all those shows, all my friends get mad at me because like I don't even pay myself for any of those things. I was on unemployment, so I didn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
But like it was really, I just wanted to build more stage time for everybody because that's how we see it. And like I said, me, Colton, Rebecca all see eye to eye on this. The more stage time, the better. It shouldn't be a competitive thing or a power thing. We just want all the comedians in town to get better because if you surround yourself with better comics, you get better.
And the scene is getting better. Like, dude, it's fucking. I mean, it's always been really good. It's always been very underrated, in my opinion. Dude, you're like the fucking Santa Claus of Austin comedy and shit.
When I
I just want everybody to have a good time. No presents for me. No presents for me.
so I started
doesn't know how to open them.
There you go.
Clearly,
You
right?
have trouble with that shit too.
No
So I started in San Antonio at River Center Comedy Club a long, long time ago. And I know that the culture there at the time was you had to do the open mics first, and then they selected people from that group to, they groomed people and selected them to do the Midnight Madness show on Fridays and then Saturdays. And then from that group, they went on to do others. Like that's where they got their openers and their showcases throughout the week and stuff like that. And that was their method of growing the scene. And it was a very small scene at that time. I mean,
Is that pre-LOL?
Yeah, this is pre-LOL.
Okay.
It was a small scene. Like I think, on the Friday show, there might be like 8 to 10 of us.
Yeah.
Right. And that was the majority of the scene at that time. This is a long time ago.
Yeah. How old are you?
It started in 1906.
79.
So this is about 3 years.
Railroad.
3 years after Hiroshima.
There's a
Good year. Good year.
Yeah, right.
Great year for comedy.
Vintage.
Let me tell you,
for comedy.
Charlie Chaplin was killing. But I mean, for me, that was the way I seen. That's the way that I witnessed the scene being grown, and there was a lot of camaraderie in the scene at that time. And then, fast forward all these years later, there's a lot more people doing stuff, and it seems a little bit harder to actually grow a scene. What's the blueprint that you guys are thinking of for like, how do you envision yourselves? You say you want to grow the scene, help people grow, get better, present opportunities. Is it going to be something like that, or how are you going to try to do this?
I'm just gonna not laugh at any of their jokes.
You don't already. You don't do that now. What are you talking about?
I don't even watch.
You don't. We did a show a couple months ago, and you had like said something about my set when I got off, and I was like, "Oh, you watched? Like, you were paying attention? I didn't think that you were paying attention to people's sets."
Yeah.
No, I mean it's a good question, and like I said, I mean my whole thing was I've always hated in comedy the competitiveness and territorialism that there is in some cities.
There's enough for everybody, right? Because there's an audience for literally every type of comic. You know what I'm saying? There's an audience that like, really deadpan shit, dark humor, silly, goofy guys, or like your normal comics and stuff. There's an audience for everybody. It's not like there's not enough people.
Just point at me, did you?
there's like there's these types of comics, you know what I'm saying, and then there's
and then normal comics,
and then there's like there's like really good, amazing, great comics, and then there's guys,
there's other people.
I'm playing, but there's a scene for everybody. Like everybody can find their own scene and their group of people that are going to help support their career.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you, I like I said, I've always hated that. And like when I started my shows up, I told like a lot of the open mics and the showcases right now that are happening in Austin, I kind of gave them my blueprint for how I go to venues, how I approach them. People would ask me, they'd be like, never run a show before, never run a mic. What do I say? Who do I talk to? And I'll tell them, you just go to a bar, talk to the bartender, ask if they ever done a comedy night, get the manager's info, do the first one for free as a proof of concept. I have a blueprint because I ran like over 40 venues in Wisconsin. And then from here, I've already ran about 15.
Yeah.
And so like, and it's not that difficult. People just are scared to do it because they're just like, what do I do? And it wasn't, people even asked me, they're like, are you going to be mad if I run a show on Mondays at 7 p.m. that's going to, conflict with your show? And I'm like, not at all, please. The more shows, the better. I just don't like that territorialism, that competitiveness. Somebody even asked me the other day, they were like, well, you run all of downtown Austin. Will you be mad if I run a downtown show? And I'm like, first off, I do not run all of downtown Austin.
Like
second of all,
like a
no.
Mob.
Yeah, I know. It's like, no, there are like certain groups that run a lot of shows.
I'll talk to the family. I'll let you know.
Actually, we do have a production meeting.
My corner, and I'm telling dick jokes over here.
Don't infringe on my territory.
So anyways, what's up with airplanes? I guess I'm a bit of a goof. You're right.
Gabagool.
Just get some gabagool. Fucking bury the hatchet, eh?
It is a mafia.
Yeah. But
I walk in with just a fur coat. This is over my shoulders.
You're just like, what are you talking about? I don't fucking run anything. You're like, cut the cigar.
Go,
get over here.
Right here.
My fucking gin and tonic.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, like, we're talking about different types of shows. I think it's just like, I think of the worst part about any scene that's established is it just has those fucking people in it that just like get shit and then they expect it. And then they don't grow because nobody's ever threatening them. So like just giving other people opportunities where you can grow out and just like, hey, either grow or fucking get pushed out.
And it's not the same 5 or 6 comics. It's, you're picking from a much larger pool and everything, and giving everybody the opportunity.
Well, and that change and that, not turnover, but that change and growth, I mean, it makes comics better because if you become stagnant and you're doing the same show for 15 years, then it's like, you're not going to get any better.
Yeah.
Like you need to change and do other scenes.
Like real talk, before COVID, like the club system was dying.
Yeah.
So what makes you think that this
in
general, in general, like, that people were moving away from clubs as is. So what makes you think that opening a club is a wise venture right now?
As far as money goes?
Yeah.
I mean,
we're
not creating, I mean, I might get some flack for this. Sorry, Rebecca, if you're watching. We're creating an art house. We're creating a culture center. We're creating a thing. We're doing paint jams where muralists will come and do our wall every 2 months. So it's like we're doing burlesque, we're doing drag, we're doing a bunch of shit. There's streaming, there's other ways. Yeah. And also, we have vodka. Do you want it? Come get it. Because we've got it. If you have a hankering or social anxiety, we have the cure.
Right. Well, that's what it is. It's not like the idea of like the cookie cutter comedy club. Like, Excuse me. I perform at these clubs and I like them. So please, anybody listening, I love Laugh Factories and Zanies. But those franchisey type of clubs, I mean, they just do weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they turn over the room. You get done with the show, you leave.
Yeah.
You come and see the headliner and leave. And that is not what we're going for at all. That's why it's nice that we have 2 performance spaces. So then when a show ends, then you go outside into our amazing Avatar beer garden area. And then, guess what? Tomorrow we have burlesque. And then the next day, we have a local band.
That is very different from the typical idea of a club. Because usually when the show's over, they want them out. But you sound like you want people to, hey, you watch the show and then hang out with us and drink. And
so there's 2 performance spaces. Are you going to be doing comedy in both of them sometimes? Or
yes.
Yep.
So
dude, that's awesome.
And we want to, at first we'll probably start just mainly outdoors just because, COVID and whatnot. But no, eventually we do want to run, shows kind of staggering. And so that's
awesome.
And they're going to be different. So let's say there's an 8 p.m. Thursday show for a headliner that ends inside. Then guess what? Karaoke starts outside at 10. So then people come in just for the karaoke, or you stay inside. You do the meet and greet with the headliner. And so having those 2 spaces and just staggering who's coming in and out, we lucked out again, finding this venue we got, the location, getting Rebecca to run it for us. I mean, it's all come together really well.
Because the outside venue, unless they changed it, but that's pretty big too, right?
It's
you can fit a lot of people there as well.
They're both 250 seaters.
So I was gonna say, that's where I saw Stanhope was out there, and I mean, it was packed to fucking tilt.
Did you do something about that pole in front of the stage?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Sweet. We did, yeah.
Dude, this is awesome.
It's March 29th, so we've already done it already.
Yes. Yes, correct.
Oh my God, I love today. How warm.
Yeah, wow. It's almost, you can tell it's right.
We opened in a couple days.
Yeah, you can tell April's coming, You can just tell it's right around the corner.
Well, you've been to you were at Red 7 in Barracuda. Just wait till you see the transformation.
I can't wait, man.
It is amazing. I mean, we've been kind of having people in and out of there, but now since we're getting all the projects done, we've kind of cut off having people come in because we're just all right, you saw the bare bones. Now just wait till you see how cool this is going to be.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it, man, because it's what it's doing for the Austin comedy scene is going to be great too, because the more we have, the better. And I feel like this, with the shows that I've been doing, you guys, we can all comment on this, but I feel like the shows that I've been doing since COVID, that the crowds are just on fire lately. And a lot I've never seen so many people at shows before. I've done so many. Colton, you know this shit. Cheatham, you do as well. We've been here for a long time, and we've seen how many shows have we done, open mics where there's fucking 5 comics there and a bartender. Now, these open mics are actually really well attended, and there's more and more people coming. And then when we do showcase, I did show Speakeasy a couple weeks ago, there was fucking damn near 200 people there. You know what I'm saying? And these are shows that normally we can barely get people to come out for, but people are thirsty for this shit now. You guys are opening at the perfect, literally the perfect time right now.
And they're becoming more literate too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people go oh, I like comedy. I like cat videos. You're going to fucking hate my set. You're going to hate this shit.
Well, that was the best part about starting stuff back up too, because the people that were coming out to bars were so comedy and live comedy hungry that they were laughing at anything and everything.
Yeah.
It was so great to get things started. So now the crowds have been just so easy to just crush in front of.
There's been a couple times I've been said shit. I'm oh, that's not a joke. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to be funny there. You guys wait for the fucking punchline. You're going to really die,
Yeah. I got a laugh break. I was hey, I'm gay. They're shut up. Get out of here. Oh my God. I was well, actually,
God, is it just me being locked inside for 12 months, or is this guy hilarious? I mean, he's fucking awesome.
It was what I had to tell him, shut the fuck up so I could.
Dude, I called a girl a cunt the other day 4 times on stage because she just 3 minutes into my set says boo, not funny. I'm bitch, I didn't even start yet. What the fuck are you talking about? It was conveniently right as I was doing a cunt joke. So I was oh dude, this is perfect. A live example. We got a cunt right here, and I'm talking about cunts. Why don't you come on stage and we'll show everybody,
No, but cunt jokes.
Not funny. I'm with her.
It was funny before that, motherfucker. But yeah, so you guys are doing an awesome thing for the Austin comedy scene. What else are you guys working on? I mean, you got the club. You're doing shows like a motherfucker every day.
Yeah, there's only one day in March that Rough Cut Comedy doesn't have a show. And so it's crazy. We just lined up, and every Friday we are at the Russian House starting next week.
What's up, dude? That's awesome.
That one's starting back up. Every Monday we're at WTF at 7 p.m. Every Tuesday we are at Baker Street at 8 p.m. Every Wednesday I'm at the Lucky Duck at 8 p.m. Thursdays we're at Poor Choices at 8 p.m. Fridays we are at WTF at 7 p.m.
And Wisecracks.
And Wisecracks. And then we have a lot of monthly shows. These are just the weekly shows every week. And then monthly we have we're all over the place. Buda, Leander. We have a show coming up in Kyle, Texas. I've been getting a lot of help, honestly. As much as like I kind of took over Rough Cut from Gabe, I've had a lot of help. Like Colton's been helping me out a ton. Brendan Gay, he's a new guy from New York. I've known him for a long time. He's been helping out a lot. I mean, Candace Medina, she's going to be running the Sunday show.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
She's hilarious. And so like, as I try to keep it kind of like very tight knit at first, and now I'm just kind of delegating out to everybody. Because I'm just like, everybody should have their own show, run it how you want to do it, and I'll make sure people show up.
So are you gonna cut back on those shows a little bit once Creek and Cave opens up? Or are you just you're gonna delegate a little bit more of that responsibility?
Exactly. Yeah, just more delegating. Yeah, because I'm gonna be at the club quite a bit, but I still want. I mean, all those shows they'll kind of just filter in because like in the last 4 months of running shows, we built up the Rough Cut name and it's got a great reputation. People will come out to anything we put on now.
Yeah. And
so all these shows that are just, I call them satellite shows, are just going to filter right into the club.
Yeah. That's awesome. Start promoting for that as well.
Yeah, and those shows are going to exist whether or not we cancel them or not. Like people love
somebody.
them.
Yeah, somebody will take it over too. If you guys like, stop doing it, someone will be like, oh shit, we'll just start doing a show there.
Right. Yeah. So I'd rather keep it under the Rough Cut umbrella.
Yeah, why not?
And then all these other people coming. I mean, there's so many good comics that not only have moved here, like the Tim Dillons and stuff and of the world, but that are coming into town. I mean, we're bringing in Matt Broussard in 2 weeks. We brought in Shane Torres, bringing in Sean Patton.
Oh wow!
And these aren't for the club. These are for my indie shows.
Oh wow!
Like
dude.
It's crazy.
That's crazy, man. That's big time.
And we can say those names.
Yeah, those names I can say.
Yeah, those ones you can. Awesome. Anything?
Nah.
Yeah. So everything's going to open up on April 1st. Like that's the hard date.
Yep.
And do you guys have a show planned for that you can promote? Or are you guys still waiting on names?
I know it's in 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you should just go ahead and say it and stop bullshit.
Say it. We should. But you'll just have to follow us on Instagram.
It's not for sure.
Yeah, the shows are already sold out, by the way, when you hear this. But it's good.
Awesome.
It's going to be a big name.
Yeah, it's
it's Bill Cosby.
We're doing another Zoom show.
Another Zoom show.
We're bringing Bernie Mac back from the dead, man. You guys are going to fucking be there, man.
I ain't scared of you, motherfuckers.
Can you tell everybody where they can find you at on social media and online and everything, where they can find out more
Colton
about
Dowling at Colton Dowling, Creek and Cave. That's just Google that.
Yeah.
Rough Cut Comedy. And Marty Clarke is Funny Boy. What is your thing?
Funny Boy 69.
I'm a clown boy. Is sad. What is it?
I'm a clown boy. I don't know. It's at Comedian Marty on everything. Follow Rough Cut Comedy on Instagram and Facebook for all our Rough Cut shows, and follow Creek and Cave, CreekandCave on Instagram and Facebook for the Creek. We have some huge announcements coming up. We have a scavenger hunt coming up. And we're going to start announcing our big names. So
dude, that's awesome.
I need y'all to stop playing coy and give us something. You ain't come all the way down here to this beautiful studio to give us nothing.
Oh, I can tell you about week 2.
Yeah.
Okay, week 2.
Give week 2.
Week 2 is Eddie Peppertown.
Oh, shit. What's up?
Yeah.
Eddie is a fucking hilarious. I've seen him at the Comedy Store many times. Hilarious. He's had a new album come out, correct? Recently?
Yeah, he did.
On Amazon, I believe. Yeah.
Great.
That dude's hilarious, man.
Wait, he's the reason, he's
you're the
my
big name
favorite
for week 1. Is that what this
comedian.
is?
Yeah, I'm actually headlining week 1, April 1 through 3. I'm going to be headlining the Creek and the Cave.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Those are some big names, and I'm sure there's going to be even bigger ones once you guys are able to actually convey that.
Isn't that? Yeah.
So make sure you follow them on social media.
Do that.
Make sure you come and check out a show. It's going to be at the Old Red 7 on Red River in 7th.
611 East 7th.
There you go. Come check it out. They've got Marty does some really good shows. They both do great shows. I heard from a friend of mine randomly told me the other day that he went to your show at WTF on Friday and said it was really good. And as soon as he said that, I was like, "Oh, dude!" I was like, "I know Colton. He's okay. He's all right." I'm
silly boy.
Yeah, I was like, "But no." But he said it's a good show, man. So the word's getting around.
Zany Colton.
So
thank you guys so much for having us.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming in.
Great.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram. It's at Podcast The Gray Area. Facebook.com/The Gray Area Podcast. Twitter, we are at Podcast Gray Area.
Yep.
Make sure you go to hotpiemedia.com to check out. You can find all of our episodes there. You can find little bios on me and Cheatham. You can also find out all about all these other awesome shows that Hot Pie Media is producing. A lot of great shows.
Paranormally trying to haunt us.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate that.
Awesome shows, man. So make sure you check that out.
Check
Give
out
these
Amy
guys a follow.
Edwards.
Yeah, give these guys a follow on online and everything.
Shout out Big Dan.
And then please share our show. Big Dan don't mess around. That motherfucker, he brought a quarter pound of weed in last time.
Quarter pound. That was like a quarter key. God damn it.
That motherfucker had like a 3 pounds of weed just on the table, not giving a shit.
He just walked in, dumped the backpack, and goes, "Who won it?"
He doesn't
What?
give a fuck.
Then he started popping
Yeah,
coked up cornflakes. And,
And as I brought one blue beer, I'm gonna
There
go
you
get another 6.
There you go. Why not?
But thank you guys again for
thank you.
checking out the show. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends about Marty, tell them about Colton. Don't be shy, don't be stingy. Come back to the gray area. We're gonna be here doing it again. For Chad, I'm Cheatham. Be kind to each other, and here's mud in your eyes.
Peace. Thanks.
Mud in your eyes?
That's right.
That's
I'm gonna go get some beer.
Here's beer in your mouth.
the beer in your mouth.
Thanks for listening. You can find more episodes and all other Hot Pie Media originals baked fresh daily at our home on the web at hotpiemedia.com, the Hot Pie Media YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to podcasts.